In this video we are going to do the 2020 Ordinary Level Pre question 6, which is the one dealing with circles and tangents. So if we just have a look at the question here now. The figure shows the design for a mantle clock. Draw the design showing clearly how to find the centres of the circles shown. Show all construction lines, tangents and points of contact. So we need to draw the whole thing, show how we found everything, put in all our tangents and then locate our points of contact, which we will be doing anyway as part of drawing it. So now if we just flick onto the page, so all I've done at the moment is I've just set up kind of a center line going horizontally and a line down the middle. This is just to make it a little bit easier for myself. On the line that I have down the center, on this line here is where the large circle in the middle is going to go, and then on this line left and right are where the two smaller circles on either side are going to go. So what I'm going to start with first is if you look at the question, the full width of this object is 180, so I'm going to mark that, and that's going to be 90 either side of the center line. So let's mark that first. So we've got 90 to the left and 90 to the right. I'm just going to draw two vertical lines here, and they're going to help me make sure I keep everything within those two lines. Again, looking at the question, the two circles that are at the bottom, they're located in 24 millimeters from either side. So I'm going to find those centers now next. So in 24 millimeters from each side, 24 millimeters here, and 24 millimeters on the right hand side, gives me the centers for both of those circles. A few more bits that we need to locate. Going up the left hand side and right hand side, there's two vertical lines. They're both 18 millimeters tall. So if we mark them, and if I mark it on one side, I just need to transfer the height across to the other, line it up with my T-square, mark it on the opposite side. A few more bits that I can start to locate. I can locate the center of the large circle, as we're told that is 35 millimeters above the points that we just found. So if I measure up 35 above that and mark that in the center, then this is the center for the large circle that I'm looking for. Now, so at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in a couple of the bits of information that I have, like those three circles. The radii for each of those circles, for the small ones on the left and right, they have a radius of 15 millimeters. And 15. And the center one, the top center one, has a radius of 25. Now if you notice, there's also a radius 36 coming out of it. But that is for the top piece, that is not for that circle. So, as I have both of these, I'll draw them. So I just zoomed in slightly just to make this a little bit clearer. So, drawing my two circles, point my compass on the center points that I marked, pencil onto the radial points, the circumference pieces that I marked, and let's draw the three circles. So nice and carefully, one hand up top, the other hand down the bottom, keeping the point in place. That's one. Same here on the opposite side. You don't need to change the size of the compass as they're both the same radius. So take your time, make sure you're getting that done right. Now we have our one up on top, which is a radius of 25. Again, we already found our center, point out to the radial point on the circumference, and we can draw that circle. Now, so I now have quite a bit that I can darken in, so each of those circles can be darkened in. I can darken in the bits on left and right of those circles, and my two vertical lines left and right. Now I have one more circle that I need to draw before I can do any more, and that's the circle for the very top, the radius 36. So this is just going to be drawn lightly as it's for construction. So looking at the question again. So the very top there's a radius 36 piece, and that has 2 tangents coming off it. So I need to draw that circle lightly first before I can actually draw the tangents that come off it. So I'll just draw the top half of it, as I don't need all of it. And again, just a light line swinging that around, so just as a construction line. Now, when we're looking at the question, we can see that there's 2 tangents, left and right, straight line tangents. And they start here and join to the top center. So if we're going drawing a tangent from a point outside of the circle, what we need to do is there's a few short steps that we need to follow. Step 1, we need to draw a straight line joining the center of our circle or our arc to the point of where the tangent starts. So this is this step here to here. Next step of this is I'm going to bisect the line that I've just drawn by extending a line over halfway, swinging my arc, and swinging my arc here and here also. So bisecting the line, so where the 2 arcs cross each other, this gives me the point here in the middle. And I'm now going to swing an arc around that point. So I'll put the point of my compass on here in the middle. I'm going to swing an arc starting in the center out until it touches the point or the circle up here. That is my point of contact. Let's label it POC now, as that they also ask us in the question to show all points of contact. So that's going to give me my tangent joining from this point back to the point down here. There is another video with the link will be in the description, just showing that piece specifically and how you draw a line from a tangent to a circle. Now we have the same thing on the opposite side, so let's practice it again. So from point outside, we're going to join the centers, extend over halfway and swing an arc on both sides, so from each end, keeping my arc the same. And that bisects the line. Again, I'm going to swing an arc, point my compass here in the middle, pencil on the center point of the circle, swing that out until it touches the piece on the outside, giving me my other point of contact for the top. So point of contact, joining that straight up, gives me that top half. To speed yourself up, what you could have done is, just as this is symmetrical, copy that point horizontally across, essentially an axial symmetry. So if we look at the question again, we've drawn the top part of it. We have only 2 more things that we need to put in. That bottom arc of radius 78, and that small circle then that touches the radius 25 circle and the radius 78 arc. So I can't draw that circle just yet as I don't have the arc, so let's find the arc now next. So I need a arc that is going to touch off this circle and be radius of 78. So it's going to be a tangent to both this arc and this arc. To find that the center for that, what I need to do is I need to take my radius of 78 and add the radius of the small circle onto it. So this is 15, 78 is going to give me 93. So if I set my compass to 93 millimeters, I'm just going to use this here to help me mark it out. If I set my compass to 93 and I draw an arc down here, everywhere on this arc is 93 millimeters away. I could put the point of my compass here and set it to 78 and draw an arc that would touch off this circle. So everywhere along this line I could draw a radius 78 arc that would touch off this one and be tangential to it and wouldn't go through it. but that's not going to touch off the one over on this side. So what I need to do is I need to set up do the exact same thing on this side. So I add 78 to the radius of this circle, which is also 15. So I'm going to have another 93, and I'm going to swing an arc down here to cut the first one. Where those two arcs cross each other is 78 millimeters away from the circumference of this circle and 78 millimeters away from the circumference on this circle. So just before I go on, I've added the radius of 78 onto the radius of 15, and I've swung an arc that's 93 millimeters, adding the two together. I did the same thing on the opposite side, so I added the 78 onto the 15, the radius of this one, and again I got 93 and swung a second arc. So this point here is both 78 millimeters away from this circle and 78 millimeters away from this circle. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set my compass to the 78 millimeters that I marked earlier on. Point my compass on the point that I found that is 78 away from both circles, and I'm going to draw an arc that touches off both. So I now have an arc there that touches off both this one, and this one is tangential to both. Now I need to darken in that arc, but where do I start it and where do I stop it? It's hard to see. So I need to find the exact point of contact, just as was asked in the question, and the point of contact for any two circles is always found by joining the centers together, as it's the shortest distance between them. So this is going to be one point of contact, doing the same thing on the opposite side, just as a light line, giving me the other point of contact. From there, I now can darken in the correct part of this, so it goes dark all the way along here until it touches the point of contact. So the final part of this question now is there's a very small circle just above the arc and below the large circle of radius 25. From looking at it, it's tangential to both of them. It doesn't cut through them, which means it needs to fit in the space that's left. Now we can measure that distance and end up with 15 millimeters. So that's going to be a little bit awkward for us. So if I need that to fit exactly between it, going from here to this point is going to be a diameter. So my circle is going to fit in there somewhere. So if this from here to here is a diameter, how do I figure out the radius for that circle? I'm going to bisect that little bit of a line there. So when I bisect that, where my two arcs are going to cross each other is going to give me the center for that circle. So my center is now going to be along that line, and that's the center for the circle that I'm looking for, this point here. So now all I need to do is set my compass to draw the circle. As the circle is quite small, take your time with it. It's quite a tricky one to draw. And then you can come over and darken it in afterwards just by tracing over the line. So that's 4 points of contact located. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have all my lines darkened in. I still have 2 more points of contact that I need to show. That's this one here and this one up on top. So just a quick look at the question again, make sure we have everything done. Draw the design showing clearly how to find the centers of the circles shown. Yes, we've that done. We've shown all our construction lines, we've shown all the tangents, and we've located all our points of contact. So that's it, the question finished. 2020 ordinary level question 6.